but I'm
Hello.
sure you're here. There
Oh,
you
you're okay.
are. Perfect. We have about 30 seconds, and then you can take us away. There you go. Woo!
Yeah, I'm ready to start now if everyone is.
Oh, all right, take it away. Thank you.
So, hi everyone. It's quite nice to come onto Zoom for something other than a quiz where 20 people are shouting at the same time. I'm around 7 months into a PhD at Sheffield Hallam, working on a thesis titled The Social Impact of Sport and Physical Activity on Crime in England. I just want to say a big thank you to Sartak and to Les for helping put this event together for us early career researchers, and to Peter Drury for supporting the event and for your insights. I'll be looking for feedback and recommendations if possible from the presentation, as it is a paper I'm working on for the Soccer and Society Journal titled A Whole New Ballgame, as Mr. Drury touched upon in his keynote. The proposed aim of this research will critically analyse the ever-growing wealth of the Premier League in the context of redistribution through community initiatives that seek to generate social value. I'll be talking about the key motivations behind corporate social responsibility initiatives and programmes that the Premier League provides, the theoretical framework underpinning the analysis, key examples of corporate social responsibility from the Premier League and how this applies to existing theory, and finally I will conclude before opening the floor to questions and hopefully key recommendations. So what is corporate social responsibility? Fundamentally, corporate social responsibility, which I will also refer to as CSR, is about an organisation or business developing a commitment to building a better society. CSR was first conceptualised by Howard Bowen in 1953 as a fundamental morality in the way a company behaves towards society. And later we began to understand the interdependency of economic, legal, ethical and philanthropic responsibilities which were highlighted in Carroll's pyramid of corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is a unique landscape and thus has received significant attention and theorisation since, within a myriad of contexts, one of those being sport, and more specifically football. There is a wide consensus among scholars that corporate social responsibility has become an important strategic issue, especially in football. But why? Well, as Julian Otti reminds us, football has a high social and cultural significance, and this would suggest that the Premier League and its member clubs are in a favourable position to deliver corporate social responsibility initiatives, which in turn generate social value and work towards a better society. However, this strategic management has not been without its critics. As McCarthy reminds us, the uniquely globalised and intensified media coverage of football, especially in England, has increased the importance of positive brand image. Naturally, this has developed the question as to whether CSR is merely a tick box exercise or a genuine attempt to generate social value. And regardless of the answer to this question, how does CSR fit into the complex jigsaw that is the profit-driven Premier League enterprise? Well, I think it's important to place the Premier League's corporate social responsibility within the wider context of the English football economy. The late poet and civil rights activist Maya Angelou once said, "If you know your history, the more liberated you are." Well, in 2015, when the Premier League signed a broadcasting deal worth £5.41 billion over a 3-year period, then CEO Richard Scudamore labelled the Premier League a success story but not a charity. Was this an indirect homage to the free market economist Milton Friedman, who, when asked about corporate social responsibility, said the only social responsibility of business is to increase its profit? Well, it might have been, as we fast forward to 2018, when Scudamore left his role as CEO, pocketing a gift, in inverted commas, of £5 million, with each of the 20 clubs in the Premier League at the time contributing £250,000 each, a golden handshake covered in controversy. Then we fast forward again to August of 2019, to one of the many examples of financial inequality in football. Bury are expelled from the Football League after 125 years due to ongoing financial and ownership issues. Bury at the time would have been one of the 72 Football League clubs, along with 20 Premier League clubs that offer community engagement, addressing social welfare issues, including but not limited to health, education, crime reduction and inclusion in their local area. Yet, as we were kindly reminded, the Premier League is not for charitable purposes. So, this places the corporate social responsibility landscape of the Premier League in an almost contradictory position. And therefore, we need to understand and critically analyse key motivations to analyse the research. To do this, I'll be using 3 corporate social responsibility theories. Firstly, legitimacy theory, which suggests companies may be seen to establish, maintain, extend or defend things like brand image. Walters and Panton help us to understand this in football by suggesting that organisations conduct this through corporate social responsibility. Stakeholder theory suggests that a business or organisation must create value for all stakeholders to be deemed successful. Freeman helps us understand this by defining stakeholders as individuals who can affect or are affected by the achievement of the organisation's objectives, whilst Morrow suggests stakeholder theory has a greater relevance for football organisations, as we've already identified through the cultural and social significance of Giulianotti's research. And last but not least, institutional theory suggests that corporate social responsibility is delivered within a social framework of norms, values, and assumptions about what constitutes appropriate or acceptable behaviour. In simpler terms, for a simple Yorkshireman like me, what is expected of the organisation or business in terms of generating social value from external drivers such as the government. A key example that's well known from the Premier League is the KICS programme. This is a programme funded by the Premier League Charitable Fund with the aim of engaging hard-to-reach youngsters in some of the most high-need areas. For my master's dissertation last summer, I conducted a social return on investment analysis of the Leeds United Foundation's Premier League KICS programme in the Halton Moor estate of Leeds. Halton Moor is an area which is in the bottom 5% most deprived in the country and was in the news last September after a riot broke out in which a police van was torched and 14 youths received injunctions. The evidence gathered from my research supports the findings of many pieces of research around football community programmes such as KICS. Scholars such as Parnell highlight a paucity of evidence upon which Lewinsky suggests positive societal outcomes cannot be accurately attributed to programmes such as KICS. Currently, most evidence comes from clubs or the Premier League directly, yet it is not thorough or transparent. This supports Coulter's notion of vague and unexamined claims about sports' ability to address crime and antisocial behaviour. Therefore, whilst in the macro, a programme such as KICS may be deemed as a positive contribution to addressing social issues such as crime, the value of this investment is, as Coulter notes, vague and unexamined. This research proposes to address whether or not Premier League corporate social responsibility practice, such as KICS, can claim to generate social value. And more importantly, how does this correlate toward my PhD? Well, this is a commonality within all sport and crime research. It's not individual to football. There is currently not enough evidence to offer an accurate estimation of the social value of sport and physical activity in relation to crime and crime reduction, highlighted in the research of my PhD supervisor, Larissa Davies. My PhD will seek to question whether sport is the most cost-effective investment for crime reduction. So, what is the role of professional football? Well, philosopher Julien Bergine, in his book Welcome to Every Town, said, "Perhaps the greatest symbol of the centrality of working class culture to English life is football." Now, of all times, this is a poignant thought. And are we doing enough as academics and fans of the game to ensure that football is taking an active role in fulfilling a social good, such as reducing levels of crime? Currently, I believe we are only scratching the surface of a potentially vital contribution to social value, as after all, the profit of these global TV deals has been generated at the centre of our micro and macro cultures, and this has taken the game to such economic heights. So to conclude, the literature surrounding corporate social responsibility in football suggests it is an effective media exercise to generate legitimacy and conform to institutional norms. However, scholars such as Agnostopoulos argue football widely lacks a commitment to generate social value. Therefore, this research aims to explore the key motivations of the Premier League's corporate social responsibility further through the lens of the theories identified. It will seek to question if these initiatives are doing enough and what the social value of these initiatives are to communities and stakeholders. From today's recommendations and critique, I hope to continue to work on this manuscript and use this as a positive platform to achieve the overarching aim of developing an insight into the key motivations and social impact of the Premier League's corporate social responsibility management. So thank you very much for your attention. In case I don't get the chance, best of luck to everybody else presenting, and I would love it if anyone has any questions or recommendations.
Thanks, Josh. Sorry.